As I was seeking out parking, all the spots on 100 are no park because of the parade, a guy fake threatened to throw a large skull-sized rock at my car. It was just a flinch move, so I didn't think much of it until I circled around, and the only spot I could find was right across the street from him, where he was. He was strutting around, being threatening, still with the rock. I chose to sit in my car and wait. He continued to strut and prance, and even jumped on top of a car about 50 feet from me. Danced around on the hood and trunk, still with the rock. Some folks sitting on the stoop of the Piccadilly Apartments confronted him, and he smashed the rock into the windshield as he got down. One woman, small and fierce, started yelling at him. She was in a black dress of black t-shirt material, with horizontal slits up her thigh to her butt. You could tell she wore it because it made her feel pretty, confident. She yelled at him about how someone had worked hard to pay for that car. He just continued his aggression dance, picked up the rock, and smashed in the driver window. She screamed louder, and he made hand gestures of a rifle at her. Pow. I considered recording him, but there were tons of witnesses, and I didn't want to attract his attention. I also don't like turning this sort of thing into an entertainment, so I kept my phone down. I also don't like calling the cops. I just don't like to see folks get hurt, and the cops usually bring with them pain. But I was worried about the woman, worried about the men who had moved from the stoop in a protective stance, worried about the guy himself because there were now a lot of onlookers getting mad. After he smashed the driver's window, I called 911. The call immediately disconnected, and I was about to call again when a woman walked by. It was clear she was talking to 911 and said the cops were just up at the 7-Eleven. 911 then called me back, and as I talked to them, I saw that the cops were here trying to corner him. He didn't run, just danced out of their reach. I hung up with 911, and the two cops got to either side of him and corralled him by another car. One cop shouldered him hard into the other car, enough to leave dents, and the two cops together tackled his body as it bounced off the car and took him to the ground. No severe injuries, and they cuffed him and walked him to the police car. Now I'm just sitting in my car and deciding what I want to do while I wait for things to calm down. Cops are interviewing folks with the damaged vehicles. They're totally uninterested in me. I'm watching the moon rise up, huge and yellow, like laughter personified. I didn't tell you, the guy who got tackled was definitely an asshole, but kind of a pitiful badass too. While he was face down on the asphalt, being roughly cuffed, he had dropped his cigarette in the street. While the cops twisted his hands around, he twisted his face up to the ground and picked up the cigarette with his mouth, before being picked up himself and marched away, cigarette dangling from his lip. It was even facing the wrong way, so he had to kind of maneuver it around on the street to get the filter into his mouth, while the cops were strong-arming the cuffs on. I may be the only one who noticed. There was a reason I had to park there, just to be a witness.